me, if I could get rid of bipolar, if I could get rid of schizophrenia, if I could get rid of that stuff about me, would I? My honest answer is no. I really wouldn't exchange my life in a way that's kind of good and bad. I have bad experiences, but I have good experiences. I don't. Everything ain't so bad. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but that's just life. And I've kind of grown on understanding now. When it first happened to me, would I have answered that question differently? Definitely. I'd have definitely been like, no. I mean, yes, I want to get rid of this, but like what I've learned from my understanding is you got to incorporate the spiritual and the psychological. They say that it's caused by too much dopamine, too much serotonin in the brain playing tricks on you, all that blah blah blah. So yeah, that could be true. But also you got to think about the fact that if I smile, if I watch TV, if I eat something that I like, stuff like that all releases dopamine, serotonin. So that means that there can be outside influences that influence you releasing the dopamine and serotonin. So who's to say that it can't be something spiritual? If you read the Bible, if you read anything like that, most of the world is spiritual. Most of the world believes in some type of higher power, some type of spirit. That's why there's so many different religious and spiritual beliefs in the first place, because most of the world believes that stuff. But it's like we live in a day and age where everybody's kind of like one foot in, one foot out. You know what I mean? And that's kind of beneficial for some people, but not for others. So it's like you gotta like believe in the psychological stuff, the psychological aspects, because it does cause a lot of people a great deal of turmoil, great deal of pain and stuff like that they can't understand. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it also is beneficial to believe in the spiritual, because if you look, anybody in the Bible, they could have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. If you look at anybody in the Torah, Quran, in the Brat Maganda or whatever it's called, the Hindu book, anybody in any of those things could have been diagnosed with something. You know what I'm saying? So it gets really deep. You gotta like do your own research and grow to a level of KWU, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. That's what my mom always taught me. So it's like if you don't have that, if you don't have some type of higher power, but also something to ground yourself, something to be able to discern. Like I don't think you should just listen to everything that pop in your head, obviously, but you should think about like, okay, what will happen if I do? You know what I mean? Is this really going to be that bad? Is stuff really going to be that bad? You gotta like reality check a lot, because there are all types of different types of spirits. So I'm not saying that you just got spirits and you should just listen to them. No, I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying don't take meds, because meds can't help you ground. If you feel like you're too high up, whatever, like I take myself to the hospital when things get hard, but it's like if you feel like you're too high up, you can't take meds to like bring you down. Everybody wants to have a super high frequency, but then why are there lower chakras? Why do you only want to operate out the higher ones? You got to stay grounded. So if your frequency is too high, you should bring it down. It's like deeper than what people really try to make it seem like, and a lot of these people don't actually have it themselves.